Welcome back to Analista de la Liga with me, Terry Gibson. I thought as we're almost a third of the way through the season, that it'd be a good time to catch up, have a little summary of what's happened so far, prospects for the teams for the rest of the season involving everything, top of the table, the race for Europe and the teams that might be possibly in a relegation scrap. A few surprises along the way, no surprises at the top of the league, and I think that's where we'll start with this post, looking at the season so far for the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Villarreal in third place, and Atletico Madrid. I'm looking at the title race. I mean, Betis had just dropped off the pace a little bit, but certainly in the hunt for a Champions League spot. But I'm looking at the title race, and unfortunately for Villarreal supporters that are tuning in, I'm ruling you out of that. So I'm just concentrating purely on the big three that I expect to be in there right to the end of the season. As I say, we're a third of the way through, 12 games played, we've got 26 games left, so plenty of opportunities for those teams at the top to prosper. But I think it's going to be a genuine race, and I do include Atletico Madrid in that. They've got a lot of work to do to catch up, but they've got some big games that they can make the points up in. They've got to play Real Madrid away from home. I think they probably have to win that, to be honest. Avoid a draw, avoid a defeat, I think, at the very least. They've got to play Barcelona twice, so that's a chance for them to catch up as well. And of course, we do have another Clasico, right? 3 games to go, I think, week 35. This time at the home of Barcelona, which by then, I imagine, will be in the camp now. We're talking about Barcelona returning back to their stadium very shortly. We'll touch on that a bit later when I come to analyse Barcelona and their issues that they've had this season. I'm going to start with Real Madrid at the top. Interesting that there's a lot of noise about at the moment about Real Madrid's failings this season. In my opinion, I think Xabi Alonso is doing okay. I think there's room for improvement from him as a coach, as a manager. I think there's room for improvement from Real Madrid, and I'll explain 1 or 2 reasons why I think that is the case. I think first and foremost with Real Madrid, 31 points. They are 3 points clear of Barcelona. They're 6 points clear of Atletico. So I think it's, the big games is where the noise is coming from. They did win a Clasico, albeit against a severely weakened Barcelona. But they did get beat by Atletico Madrid. They drew recently against Rayo Vallecano in their last game, which we've seen already this season. Barcelona dropped points there, and Real Madrid haven't won there in 4 seasons. So it's 3 draws and a defeat for Real Madrid in the last 4 seasons, and Xabi Alonso wasn't manager for those. So, yes, it's always a surprise when a team like Rayo pick up points and take points off of Real Madrid or Barcelona, but really we should be past that now. It's not a major surprise, not a major issue. Rayo are a decent team in European competition this season. No one particularly likes going to Vallecas and playing in that stadium, and it's a tiny pitch, a hostile crowd. It's a classic underdog story, and they rise to the challenge. So I don't think Xabi Alonso should receive too much criticism for that particular game. I don't think he should be receiving too much criticism at all at the moment, but there are some issues that need resolving at Real Madrid. First and foremost, I think we need to see a system from Real Madrid, and by that I mean it's just to reiterate a point I've made on a number of occasions this season, the system, whatever it is at the back, whether it's a 4 or a 3, pretty much a 4, it's that the midfield is an issue, and I think Vinicius playing on the left is an issue because Mbappe is the only player playing down the middle. Therefore, the midfield has to rotate about this lopsided, so someone almost every week, unless it's Rodrigo who plays on the right, or Brahim Diaz, an obvious one. But it hasn't been. We've seen Arda play on the right. We've seen Mastantuono play on the right. And even, in some games, there is no obvious right-sided midfield player. Valverde's playing right back, so that because of the injury to Danny Carvajal and the recent injury to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold is back now, and I'm presuming that Valverde will be able to go back into a midfield position. That might be the solution, play him on the right side of midfield in a midfield 4. But then Vinicius is always an issue because he wants to stay on the left. So it's not like you can play Vinicius on the left of a midfield 4 to give the team balance. You have the midfield 4, you have a midfield 3 or 2-3-1. But there needs to be some sort of system where it's not obvious that everything goes down the left for Real Madrid and weaknesses are down the right because no one's defending down that side apart from whoever's playing right back. So my opinion, I think that Xabi Alonso needs to put his stamp on the team at the moment because quite frankly, I don't see a difference from this team to the one that Ancelotti was coaching last season. And we were led to believe that the clamour was for a younger manager who was more tactically sophisticated than Ancelotti, which was that was derogatory towards Carlo Ancelotti. Yes, he's known for his man management skills, getting the best out of players, being able to manage superstars, but he knows football as well. So that was always a derogatory comment aimed at Ancelotti, which I didn't agree with. So I think that's the issue for Real Madrid. And the other issue is Kylian Mbappe has got 50% of their goals in La Liga. So they've scored 26. He scored 13 of them. They only have 7 goal scorers in this season so far, Real Madrid. So Mbappe with 13, then it drops off to Vinicius on 5. Arda Güler has got 3, and he's a creator more than a goal scorer. So that's not bad going for a player like Arda Güler. Jude Bellingham has got 2. I think it's in 5 starts. So he's going to provide goals. So Vinicius needs to score more. After that, you can talk about Eder Militao scored a worldie, Alvaro Carrera scored a worldie, with their 1 goal that they've scored each this season, and Mastantuono scored a good goal as well. So they need to contribute. They need more contribution, because if anything happens to Mbappe, the last 2 games Real Madrid have played, he hasn't scored, they haven't scored. So I think that Vinicius needs to step up. Vinicius needs to be scoring more goals. Week 12, 5 goals from a player like Vinicius. I think one of those was a penalty. Probably isn't sufficient enough. So they need more goal scorers. Now you compare that to Barcelona, who scored 6 more, and they've got 11 goal scorers. And all of a sudden Lewandowski's got 7, and you've got Ferran Torres with 5, Yamal with 4, Fermin, Rafinha has got 3 each, Araujo's got a couple, Pedri's got a couple, Rashford, Koundé scored, Garcia's scored, Dani Olmo's only got 1 but he hasn't played much, Rafinha's got 3 and he hasn't played much. So there's 11 different goal scorers for Barcelona. Atletico Madrid have got 10 different goal scorers. So I think that the onus, the reliance on Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid is it's great to have him. He's a brilliant player, superstar, world class, and his goal scoring exploits this season are off the scale. Fantastic for Real Madrid to invest that money in Kylian Mbappe, and it's paying dividends. But others need to step up. So I think that's my issues with Real Madrid. With Barcelona, I just think I've described them as a banged-up football team. They had too many injuries. They didn't know where they were playing from one game to the next, whether they were playing in the training grounds, whether they were playing Montjuic. Still no one. It's not clear when they're going to be back in the camp now, but it looks imminent. Now, we get a few days' notice. We've got couple of days' notice for one of the games in the training ground. So no news has come out of Barcelona yet, but it's going to be soon. And I think the sooner they're back in a proper venue, in their own stadium, playing there on a regular basis, that's going to help their chances of catching Real Madrid this season. And, I think there's been an upturn in form in the last game against Celta Vigo, when the first half was a calamity. It was the same as we've been seeing, but the second half was different. And I think there's the shining light for Barcelona and Hansi Flick is dreadful injury situation this season. Pedri's on his way back. Jean Garcia is on his way back. Rafinha is on his way back, possibly for the next game as well. And Dani Olmo and Lewandowski have come back recently, so suddenly it looks a more vibrant Barcelona, coupled with the news they're going into back in their stadium. I think that leans me towards thinking that there is a 3-point gap at the moment. It changed after the last game as well, didn't it? With Rayo getting that point against Real Madrid. Celta away for Barcelona is a bit of a tough game. It's a bogey ground for them, but they came through that with flying colours. So now the race is firmly back on. So as I say, I'm ruling out Villarreal. Barcelona, talking about key games to come, they've got to play Atletico Madrid twice. So that's a chance for Barcelona. And all these teams I'm talking about, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico, got the Spanish Super Cup early in January as well. So that complicates matters as well. A couple of games have been shifted. And we've got Barca Atleti in the first week of December. So that's a key game as well. So as I say, that the second Clasico is right towards the end of the season. So much to look forward to this season. So exciting. And when I talk about Atleti, I think it's kind of gone under the radar. Recently, they've won 5 out of the last 6 and drawn 1. They've won an away game against Betis, because their away form has been an issue this season. they have had injury problems as well. They haven't kept enough clean sheets. They've kept 3 in the last 4 in the Liga. So that's against Osasuna, Betis away, Sevilla at home. So the signs are good, although Simeone would have been furious for the goal they conceded against Levante. Reminiscent of the goals they conceded against Arsenal from set pieces. So that's something that needs to be eradicated. They need to be better at defending set pieces. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They're big enough players, fantastic goalkeeper. They just need to be more organised. They can't allow the type of goal they allowed against Levante. It was so easy. And they've had their injury issues. No, Johnny Cardoso has barely played this season. Thiago Almeida has just recovered from injury and made a comeback and looks a fantastic player. Alex Baena is another player who's missed a lot of playing time this season as well. So, as I say, forgive me, Villarreal fans, for ruling you out. I think Villarreal, yes, they're doing fantastically well. They've taken advantage of the fact that Atletico got off to a slow start. Do I expect them to see them in the thick of the action in the title race? I don't. But for Villarreal to finish top 4 again this season, to qualify for Champions League again, I just hope and wished they would do. Perhaps I got the hump with Villarreal because they're not doing anything in the Champions League, and I know they're capable of doing that. So 4 games left in that for them. That's probably where their focus is. Their focus is on finishing in the top 4. Their focus is pretty much on Betis. They have a 6-point gap over Betis. So I think that's where their focus is. Improvement in the Champions League in the last 4 games, hanging around the top 4. I don't see him in the title race. So I think that's the view of the season so far. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of it and back out in action. I'm back out in action this weekend. Travelling out to Madrid. I know the international break is a pain in the backside for most people. I'm coming to like it, actually. Just the occasional weekend off, without flying, which is a little bit of an issue for me. But I'm actually looking forward to getting back out there this weekend, getting stuck into the action. We go all the way through to Christmas. Plenty of games are coming thick and fast. And then we have the mini Christmas break as well. So up and running until the Christmas break. So look forward to what we see between now and the end of December.